Hey, how's it going? I'm Louis Dalton and I'm a UK-based filmmaker. Wedding videography has allowed me to create a job for myself, whilst also pursuing the creation of short films. Here's a quick guide on how you can get started with wedding videography. Freelance photo and video is a great way to learn the basics, whilst building up the filmmaking equipment required to fund and fuel your passion for other filmmaking projects, such as documentaries, short films, and eventually feature films, if that's your interest. You can get started with as little as £200, and you might have that money laying around in your house in eBayable junk. You'll need an overall knowledge of whatever gig you want to get into. Weddings, for example, is seen as quite a scary and intimidating contract to complete. There's a lot that can go wrong within a wedding day if you don't know what you're doing. This isn't said in an attempt to scare you out of it. I was once nervous to shoot weddings, but after the first 5 you realise it's an easy gig. Most of them are predictable. The shot list is laid out for you. You start to see patterns in the day. Speaking firsthand after shooting somewhere between 50 to 60 weddings over the space of a few years, I can tell you that once you practice and understand a formulaic approach to a wedding day shoot, you'll be able to approach every new wedding with confidence. When I graduated from Falmouth University in 2016, I had limited knowledge about how cameras, sound, lights, and real-life business worked. University was a great experience, but it was more academic and less practical. All of my practice for the past few years has come from learning on the job in freelance, working for myself. Throughout the journey, I built up a kit cupboard more than capable of producing high quality videos and photos. With this, I could dedicate time to creating short films. So, you want to land that important first paid video or photo contract. So where do you start? It can be confusing. I'll explain the elements that you need to start selling your services on the open market. You need some starting capital, but how much do you need? Let's break it down. I truly believe you could start a production company from the ground up if your ground means you have access to the internet, can read and write, and are interested in creating beautiful visual products for various people. If you could buy a cheap camera and a microphone and a tripod, you might be on your way. But I know that's not everybody's starting place. We all have various advantages and disadvantages in this capitalist race, so let's not overgeneralize here. This information is for somebody based in the UK. It doesn't have to be London. It helps if you have a car and a means to buy a camera. Granted, these things are not immediately accessible to everybody. If you have £200 ready to invest into your first camera, here's what I found online that would be a good start. Looking at the second-hand camera store mpb.com, I see that there's a battered Canon 600D going for about £104, and an old Canon 50mm prime lens going for £64. With this combination, you could easily start a video production company hosted from an Instagram account for less than £200. Like everything in business, there are various options and choices of scale. But if we are talking about bare minimum costs to get started with what I'm recommending, £200 to £300 will be a great start. As you upgrade your skills, you can reinvest into your kit cupboard. One way to get free professional help with all of this is to consult the Princess Trust program. That's what I did. And I get regular one-on-one support every few months, which helps to keep me accountable and helps me to maintain my overall goals. I didn't get a loan because I was in a fortunate position at the time to make enough sales. I then used those sales to reinvest into my business, but life is different for everybody. I found the Princess Trust to be a great help, especially when considering I needed their expertise in real life business, which I know is an invaluable resource in the operation of my company. Throughout their help and mentorship, you could be on your way to having a complete business plan. At the end, you could get a business loan with the Princess Trust through the Startup Loans Company. If you wanted to go down that route, you could get a loan between £500 to £25,000. However, if you'd rather go the organic route and you have the means to support yourself on this little freelance journey, keep watching, as I'm going to try and map out the different elements required to starting up a small production company. This last summer, I made £13,000 in 3 months. This summer, as a complete novice, you could easily line yourself up with 5 wedding shoots as an assistant, scoring you £500 depending on your negotiations. From there, you could have 5 great wedding videos for your portfolio, and then you could start selling wedding videos yourself. Starting out, you could make £500 to £1,000 per video you create. So what gear do you need? It can be mind-boggling to think about what gear you're going to get. I started out with a free camera borrowed from my good friend who lent me his Canon 6D and a 50mm prime lens. Eventually I bought a Sony a7S II, which was sold with another 50mm prime lens. It was a huge jump in quality. Just like a Pokemon, cameras have different special skills and attributes. The reason why I wanted the a7S II is because it was fabled as the low-light beast, meaning I would not have to mess around with lights at weddings, because who needs that type of stress? Eventually I did realise that a light or two is a useful thing to have at a wedding, or any type of gig. Honestly, I just keep a cheap £20 LED light in my bag just in case. It has saved mine and a photographer's skin while shooting a pitch black sparkler shot. The photographers thanked me for it, I thanked me for it. The A7S II can see in the dark, but just because it can, should it? It's a fantastic tool for weddings, and other contracts too. So I picked up the A7S II for $1,250, and I was suddenly equipped with a multi-angle set made up of that and the Canon 6D. There is no size that fits all, but if we go from wedding videos, here's my kit list. I've listed my wedding video setup below if you'd like to copy it. First, you'll need a portfolio of work in the niche area that you want to sell. When I moved back to London from Cornwall, I had no portfolio to speak of. I had an opportunity as a course tutor at a place called Collage Arts. I was tasked with leading and teaching students about the creative process required to make a short film for Haringey Council. During the course, I met students who showed the intuition and drive required to sell their camera work skills in the spheres of live events. The first live event I filmed was called Hootenanny in Brixton. This was for free, but it gave me a portfolio piece to go from. With this event, me and my friend Izzy did the photography and videography. We were not paid, but just because you're not paid money doesn't mean that there's nothing to gain from the event. Once we completed it, we had a portfolio piece, and we could use that to show other potential clients on the open market what we could do. Over the years, our portfolio has grown, and our rates have increased. When building out a portfolio in any niche, be that weddings, funerals, live events, music videos, and branded videos, I always stuck to a rule. I'll do the first for free if I've never done one before, and then I'll charge. I'll charge in accordance to the current open market prices, which can be found easily by doing research on other production companies. If it was hard to sell at that point, I dropped my prices down to what I was comfortable with. Which is what you might have to do, because without a track record of great reviews and a vast portfolio of work, nobody can really trust you to capture their event. It takes time to build, but build you must. You should compile and showcase your current portfolio on a website if you can afford the costs. I recommend Squarespace, as I've built websites with WordPress, Wix, and then Squarespace, and in that order. I prefer Squarespace's design layouts, and I feel that it is more suited for a visual portfolio. Having said that, it's the most expensive of the website hosting platforms. Starting out, you could always build and host your portfolio on Wix, but then the downsides are that Wix will slap their logo all over your website, which might be a deterrent for clients. But we're just getting started, so that's where we're at. Go to somewhere like UK Wedding Videographers on Facebook. Introduce yourself. Here's an example of what you could say. Hi, my name is Bob, and I'm a recent graduated of Falmouth University. I'm interested in building a portfolio and breaking into the video industry, and can work for use of what I shoot and a starter fee. If you or anybody else in your network needs an assistant or a spare pair of hands for around £100 a contract, please get in contact. To work for so little, to practically no money, and be able to survive without many negative repercussions is a massive privilege. If you are in the position where you're not paying rent right now, or you have some savings so you can invest in yourself, see working for free as a portfolio collection opportunity and investment in yourself. Be responsive and available. Not every opportunity offered to you will be equal. Try to make sure if you are not paid money, you're gaining something else from assisting from that portfolio. That portfolio will give you the freedom to sell your services in the future. We hear it time and time again, you can't build a website and expect people to just come to it. You need traffic. There's two ways to get this, SEO and PPC. I personally haven't done much SEO, to be honest. What I do know about is PPC. By this, I mean pay-per-click marketing. Google Ads, for example. But one platform I can recommend is Bark.com. I turn Bark credits there into real money. On average, I turn £80 into £600. And you need to spend money to make money in sales. Let's break this down. Bark.com is a lead generation website. You can sign up there as a video production or photo production or both company. You can then select what type of services you want to sell. You can then select the niches that you service, such as wedding videos. Suddenly, now you know where your website traffic is coming from. But here's the deal, all Bark really is a middleman between you and the client. Bark.com are excellent at SEO and PPC. They're like the big name and you're franchising your services. One thing I always say on the phone with a potential client is that Bark.com is a vendor comparison website. You request a video service and you've got a number of videographers pitching their services to you, such as our company. Now, the reasons why people who have used Bark.com say it's a scam is simple. The credits that you buy and spend are not protected if you can't secure the sale. If you make contact with somebody by buying their phone number and email, you run the risk of not converting that sale. And here's how we have to see it. In my first year of trying, I was averaging 1 sale per 10 contacts, meaning 1 contact cost 8 baht credits. That's around £8 to £9. So I would spend £80 to £90 to get a secured sale. And the sales for the wedding videos would average anywhere between £600 to £1,000. So you have to have the marketing budget to even play. It's pay to play or pay per click. Here's the thing. In their policies, it would state that if you call Bark customer service and notify them about a lead who will not respond at all, that Bark.com will then contact them on your behalf and attempt to make contact. If they can't make contact, it's assumed that their number is wrong and they will often return your credits out of goodwill. This has helped me out on a few occasions, but it doesn't work every time. So sometimes you do have to cut your losses. But this is the nature of the beast. You won't convert every sale, especially if you're precious about your prices. You're the business owner, and you can use your negotiations with the bride or groom to land a sale. This will increase the likelihood of that credit being put to a good use. Every service provider, be it a plumber, production company, or massage therapist, needs social proof. That's testimonials, customer reviews. Where you collect your customer reviews is important. I used to send everybody to Bark.com to fill out our customer reviews. This was before I realized that Bark.com will fetch your reviews from everywhere, like Facebook, Google My Business page, and other lead generation websites, and display them on Bark.com. Having 15 to 20 reviews is a great start. In my first year of business, I hosted all of my portfolio on a singular website, infernoswitchfilms.com, where I sold every video production service under the sun. Once, I asked an influential figure in the video production sphere what they thought of my website, which they replied that it was like my website had schizophrenia. It was everywhere and not clear. Eventually, I learned to build a separate brand for the wedding videos, which would make the marketing consumption process easier for the end user, the bride and groom. Now all of my wedding videos and social media posts go under the handle at Louis Charles Dalton Videography, and that is also the website, louischarlesdalton.com. I would recommend a separate brand for each service area you want to go into. If you've ever heard of Lyrical Lemonade, this is a brand which is solely music videos. Being one thing, niching down is extremely powerful. However, many small business owners, especially in the production company section, own and run multiple brands. You must tailor your end user experience. So here's a summary of what we talked about. You've got your starting capital, which is either £200, or you can go the longer route of acquiring business finance. You've got your recommended gear list, which is scalable depending on your budget. I would recommend building a quick website to host your portfolio, and do marketing with P per C, pay per click. Use Bark.com, where real customers are shopping for your services, and use social proofing by collecting reviews with each contract you complete. And finally, branding. As your portfolio and experience grows, you'll have the opportunity to niche down into specialist brands such as my wedding video label, Louis Charles Dalton Videography. With this information, you'll be well on your way to pitching for that elusive first paid contract. Thank you so much for watching that. I know my delivery isn't the best, but it will get better. This has been my first proper YouTube video. With this channel, I really want to help younger filmmakers such as myself when I was 21. So I'm 26 now, and I've been a full-time freelancer for 5 years. So if there's anybody at that age or somebody who's even older who wants to get into freelance filmmaking or photography, I encourage you to subscribe, and I will answer all the questions that you have, if I can. Thank you.